Hey everybody, we're back here for a quick video here. Well, quick, we'll see how long it goes here. It's a couple days, technically one day now, before the Golden Globe Awards, and with my schedule and everything, I'm not sure I'll be able to do a video, before like the day of Globe awards being handed out. So I wanted to get my predictions out a little bit earlier, so it doesn't look a little, it's a little too close and everything there. So. Yeah, so it's 2 days before the Globes here. I'm going to give out final predictions here. I'll get back to you guys. I will have some updated Oscar nomination predictions coming out soon. I'll get BAFTA nomination predictions out before the awards are handed out. We'll do that for, maybe not for WGA, but for DGA and PGA. We'll get those out here as well. Let's see here. What else? Critics' Choice is a ways out, but we'll get to those final predictions probably after Oscar nominations are out. So that being said, we'll just kind of go into here the different categories for the Globes here. They're handed out this Sunday. Ricky Gervais is back in the hosting chair. We'll see how well that goes. Personally, I thought last time he was fine. He wasn't, as outstanding as he was, say, probably the first 3 years. But anyways, we'll get into it here. Just go from kind of the smaller categories, the more, the ones that are likelier to get out of the way first, then we'll work up to drama film and so on and so forth. Starting with Best Song, there is kind of, aside from, just to remember, the nominees are Beautiful Ghost from Cats, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, Stand Up from Harriet, Spirit from The Lion King, and I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man. I think this is, you could argue this is a four-way race here. I mean, there's really, aside, the Spirit one, I don't know if that one stands much of a chance here. But, Stand Up, it's, I believe that Cynthia Erivo kind of co-wrote it, so, or maybe she wrote it by herself, I'm not sure, but I know she's involved in the process there. She's very unlikely to win for Best Actress Drama, so if they really want to give her something, this is a chance to do it. And as we've seen in previous years with like U2 and with, stuff like that, they will give popular artists this award. Obviously Lady Gaga won last year as well. So, it's definitely within reason there. The same goes for I'm Gonna Love Me Again, the Rocket Man song. This is a way to personally award the film and Elton John, because again, I'm not... there's a possibility Taron wins for Best Actor, Comedy Musical. It's possible, but again, I'm just not sure where else they're going to award that film if not here. So that one I think is possible. And also the same goes for Beautiful Ghost for Cats, I think. That one, again, it's a way to award Taylor Swift, and it's the only film, only nomination the film has, and I don't know we'll see about the Oscars too, since Universal has kind of basically shut down the Oscar campaign for the movie. We'll see. It might end up with just this. Anyways, I'll get, I've seen a lot of stuff too recently, Cats being one of them, and you know what, just to really quickly divert here, one quick second. I would have never thought I would have said this, but the day I saw this film, I also saw the Rise of Skywalker. I kind of saw them back to back there, and I was more entertained by Cats than I was by Rise of Skywalker. And let's see, really quick, I'll just remind you, I have these in my room, so yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan first and foremost. So just in case you missed that, here, let me show them again, if you can, yeah. Also Indiana Jones, of course. But anyways, that's the statement. So, yeah, I'll get into reviews probably another time. But but I am going with the win here for Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. The reason here is because it's, Rocket Man, Harriet, and Lion King both have a couple of other nominations here. It is in for... Yeah, Lion King was in for animated here, that's right. I couldn't remember if it was here or the Critics' Choice, but it was here. So it's definitely... They like the first Frozen, they gave that a couple nods, and it won for animated feature, but historically, the Lopez siblings, or I don't know, I think they're siblings, who wrote the song, did not win the year of Frozen, and they did not win for Coco, even though they both won the Oscar, both won Oscars both years. So this feels like a makeup for that. And also, it's just, I just don't know if the other songs are going to hold up as well for the voters, and it's, Mandela U2 won that year for the Mandela movie, and then The Greatest Showman won the year of Coco. So again, I think that's a way to kind of make up for that. So and it's on their radar. It's something they saw and they liked. So yeah. Okay, moving on to the score category here. This one I feel is more like it's probably just 1917 here as the clear front runner. Joker could win. It's definitely a more very well-liked score. Marriage Story, kind of same deal there. But again, I would say 1917 is the one that's probably got this one. Let's see, for animated film, it's probably Toy Story 4 here. You never bet against Pixar here, so yeah, I would say that one's probably that one. Then yeah, Frozen 2, I think it's a threat. It might win, but I would say Toy Story 4 has got that one. For foreign language film, Parasite, yeah. Some of these, yeah, it's weird. Because some of these categories of the Globes this year are very, very tight, legit, 2, 3, or in song, 4-way races. But other ones are just simple, yep, pick that one, move on. I think, yeah, foreign language film, Parasite's definitely it. Anyways, we'll move on to the screenplay category next year. And, this is something, a few people have brought this up, and I think it's actually a lot more possible than I thought. If you would have told me this Oscar or Globes nomination morning, I would have said, I don't know. Parasite might go 3 for 3 here on Sunday. It's possible. They could win the screenplay prize too. It's very possible. I do think, though, this goes to Marriage Story, and I think this is the only thing that Marriage Story wins on Sunday is screenplay. I think, again, you could argue really any 5 of these films have something of a chance to win on Sunday, but I think we might overthink this, and I'm just picking Marriage Story. I think that one will win, but, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino. He's won, I think it's 2 times for this for screenplay here at the Globes. I think he won for Django, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did, yeah. And also for Pulp Fiction. So, they like him a lot. They clearly like the movie a lot. That was that one and, a couple other films. Really, they didn't miss anything. Parasite, it would have been nice to see an acting nomination, but otherwise that didn't miss anything. The Two Popes doesn't have director. Marriage Story doesn't have director. Irishman missed for Robert De Niro, but it got everything else. So, really, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the only other thing it possibly could have gotten was maybe Margot Robbie for supporting actress, but she's, clearly Bombshell is going to be the priority for her for the rest of the season and everything. So, you kind of go with the more safer bets here. So I think, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is possible here. The Irishman might sneak up on us and win here. Parasite is very possible to win here, again, if they really, really love the movie. And it is the Hollywood Foreign Press, so sometimes they do, like Roma, went 2 for 3 last year. The Two Popes, I have not quite caught up with that one. It's on Netflix, but I've just been, busy and stuff with holidays and everything, so I haven't got a chance to sit down and watch that one yet. But it feels, from the trailer and stuff, it feels very, Anthony McCartan sometimes, his screenplays are very screenplay-y, very dialogue-heavy, but, and I've heard that secondhand from a few people. So that could sneak up and win, too. But I would say Marriage Story is probably the safe bet here. Okay, for the acting races, supporting actress, I'm going with the movie star here. I'm going with Jennifer Lopez. But again, I could totally be missing this, and it's easily Laura Dern. I think it's down between these two. I think, and again, Laura Dern, kind of from the first screenings of Marriage Story, kind of felt like the obvious one here. It felt like, okay, that's going to happen. She is Hollywood royalty. She's been around for a long time. She feels very overdue for a lot of these awards and stuff, so she could easily just run the table this year. But, again, I'm thinking, and I was wrong last year with Best Actress with Lady Gaga, so that didn't pan out, but they do like, sometimes they want to see certain stars get up there and give a speech, so Lopez in Hustlers, feels like that. They do like to give the single nominated films the supporting races, like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, and who else won it? I was writing this in the article earlier, but I forgot who it was I put down. There was somebody else. Was it the next year? Yeah, it was Sylvester Stallone and Creed, yeah. So these supporting races, sometimes, even if, because a lot of people argue, oh, Marriage Story has so many more nominations, they clearly didn't nominate Hustlers in comedy musical, they didn't nominate it for director, or for screenplay, or for actress, comedy musical for Constance Wu, so they clearly didn't like it as much as Marriage Story. It's like, yeah, that's true, but we've seen, films like Creed and Whiplash, and there's probably other examples that aren't coming to my head right now. But the single nominated films, that doesn't mean they're they can't win the category they're nominated for. So that I factor into it as well. Plus, Lopez, again, from what I've heard secondhand, is that she is really campaigning the hell out of her Oscar chances here and everything. So if that's the other thing too. We kind of heard again, kind of second, third hand after Aaron Taylor Johnson won a couple years ago for Nocturnal Animals, a big surprise here a few years ago. I think I had him in last place that year for that award. Is that he really, the reason he won is because he was campaigning hard, and he spoke, everybody said specifically with Globes voters, like he was like their best friend for like the weeks leading up to the voting and stuff. So, if Lopez and a few of the other ones are doing that, then yeah, that's, that'll definitely sway things there. Supporting actor, this just feels like Brad Pitt. Again, I've seen the movie again, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was able to rewatch that one, but didn't watch the other stuff. But yeah, and I have to go back because I said if you go back clear to one of my earlier videos where I talked about, I kind of defended the scene of, well, I more or less defended, I guess, is the proper word there, or phrase there, more or less defended it. The scene where he's, the scene with him and Bruce Lee, when he slams him into the car and stuff. And I said, oh, it's a fantasy, because he says, he's like, after he, finishes, he's like, nah, he says something like that. Turns out I turned on the subtitle, he says, fair enough, which is like, oh, okay, so that actually probably did happen then. Yeah, so after the second viewing, that was clear to me now. So, okay, fine, you guys won the battle on that one. I misheard it in the theater and everything, so Mandela effect, I guess, maybe, but, anyways, but that being said, though, even though I'm not wowed by that performance, even though I'm not, necessarily the biggest fan of the movie or the performance, I just don't think they go anywhere else here. I mean, in a way, Pacino and Pesci kind of cross each other out. Tom Hanks is getting the Cecil B. DeMille Award, so it kind of feels a little cheap to give him this on top of it. And, Anthony Hopkins is not a sure thing for the Oscar race or anything, and sometimes when it comes to these categories, sorry if the table's a little wobbly here, it's a different table from last time, sometimes they don't, they go with somebody who they think is going to get in the Oscar race. Like we say, a few years ago, Amy Adams, when she won for Big Eyes, over like Emily Blunt and Into the Woods, which I think I picked Emily Blunt that year, I'm pretty sure I did, but I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Amy Adams, and it was Amy Adams. A lot of people think that was, and conjectured it was because, it's because they think she's going to get into the Oscar race. She ended up not getting nominated. But sometimes they want to make that play, and I think they definitely felt that way last year with Glenn Close over, like, Lady Gaga and stuff in that drama category. It's like, it felt like it was going to be Glenn's year. Of course, it didn't quite turn out to be. But, so, yeah, I think they like The Two Popes. It does have 4 nominations after all. So, but that being said, I just don't think they'll go there. So I think Brad Pitt, kind of by, deduction there, you go with Brad Pitt there. Plus, even though he's won a few Globes for for producing, and stuff, and even though he did win for 12 Monkeys a number of years ago, going on 24 years ago now. Or was it longer than that? Maybe it was 25. However long ago it was many, many years ago. I think they'll go with him there on Sunday. Okay, then for the comedy musical acting categories, actress, comedy musical, I feel like this is Awkwafina, I think. I've heard a few people talk about maybe Ana de Armas for Knives Out. They do like Knives Out quite a bit. It's in for Picture and for her and for Daniel Craig as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't, I mean, I like the movie a lot. I liked her in it a lot, but I just don't get that feeling with this. It feels like, and again, I not having quite seen The Farewell, it's just Awkwafina's, you could say the biggest star of the 5 right now, and, kind of feels like this could be like an anointing, so to speak. So, so I think I'll go her there. The same goes for comedy actor musical. I kind of called this one early on. I'm sticking to it. Eddie Murphy wins this for Dolomite Is My Name. It's also nominated for Best Film, which pretty, all the 5 films here are also nominated for Best Comedy Musicals, so, that doesn't happen way too often. Sometimes they sneak in somebody else. But, I feel like, again, he's been nominated 3 times previously at the Globes for lead actor comedy musical, has never won. Feels like he's on a comeback streak, crushed it on SNL, right in the voting period for these guys. I believe it was when voting period started. Plus, since then, a lot of people have talked about the cooking skit, the Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood skit. And I didn't stay up to watch the show. I went to bed early that night, but I said I was going to watch it, and I missed out. But I saw all the clips on YouTube and stuff, and I was like, man, I wish I could have seen that when it was actually, the first time you could see it. But, I mean, they all worked. I mean, I thought it was, really, I mean, and I don't, religiously watch SNL, but I thought, definitely this was some of the most entertaining skits I've seen in a while. Like, the cooking show one was great. He's like, come on, we can still win this shit! And they have to bleep that out. His reaction was hilarious. Yeah, but that being said, you do have Taron Egerton kind of looming over his shoulder there in Rocket Man. It's a true, musical performance. Sometimes they do go musical actors here, like Hugh Jackman over Bradley Cooper that year and stuff. So, Taron could happen. Rocket Man is also up for Best Film and for Best Song, so it does have more nominations than Dolomite. Taron also got the SAG nomination over Eddie. He's really, the only place he didn't land so far is Critics' Choice. I don't think he gets in at BAFTA, though. Who did I have? My 5 at BAFTA, and I don't have De Niro in for BAFTA either. I think it's, the drama guys, except for, I think I have the 5 that are nominated for actor drama at BAFTA. Yeah, I have Joaquin Phoenix, Adam Driver, Banderas, Jonathan Pryce, and, I do have DiCaprio in there, yeah, so DiCaprio's on the musical side. I don't have Christian Bale getting in there, but man, that's going to be a tough category. Getting it nailed down to 5 for the Oscars, because De Niro's definitely still in there, because I think Irishman is probably going to walk away as the most nominated film on Oscar morning. So it's like do they pass him up? He will be nominated as a producer on the film, true, but unless they say nominees to be determined and he doesn't want to be, or they don't agree that he is. But I think he's like second listed on the producers list, so I'm pretty sure he gets nominated for that. So, Taron could, and he feels like, it's a little bit like an Eddie Redmayne in Theory of Everything, kind of, not necessarily role-wise, but like age-wise, playing a famous British legend and so on and so forth. So, I get the math equals out to him winning, I get that, potentially, but again, Eddie Murphy, again, crushing it on SNL, I believe right when voting started or during the voting period, I think that might help him win out there. Okay, then in the drama races here for acting, I think lead actress drama is Renee Zellweger for Judy. Now, I forgot, I was going to check, because people have said, I was going to see, because she has won a Globe before. I think she won the year of Cold Mountain at the Globes. Let's see here. Oh, shit, I forgot, she has 3, that's right. Yeah, she won for Chicago and for Nurse Betty. Not the TV show. Does anybody remember that TV show? Yeah, she won for that, too. I didn't know that. Okay. I thought she won for Bridget Jones's Diary, but that was the next year. Okay. So she has 3 Globe wins in the past. That's true. And actually, Scarlett Johansson, who I think is probably the next best threat here. Charlize Theron, I think, will also have a potential play for Bombshell. I think if that movie had done better, she would have been, a much higher threat, but it's probably down between Scarlett and Renee. And, Scarlett has been nominated quite a few times at the Globes, never nominated at Oscars. It's in the most nominated film at the Globes, Marriage Story. But I just don't really... I'm not feeling that one either, kind of like the Ana de Armas thing. I'm just not feeling it. Just with Renee, even though it is a musical film, and Renee, crushes it, as Judy Garland and stuff, I just think the Globes voters will go for it. Yeah. Let's see, for Best Actor Drama, again, I've kind of said at the top, when the nominations came out, I said this is a coin flip between Joaquin Phoenix and Adam Driver. Again, I'm going Joaquin here. He has won a Globe before for Walk the Line, so, and Adam Driver, of course, has not won. Maybe he won, did he win for Girls? We might have checked this before, but I thought he maybe won for, like, the first season of Girls, or maybe that was, like, maybe it was, like, a Critics' Choice or something he won for. Let's see here. Nope, okay, he wasn't even nominated, that's right. I think we checked this one time before, and I totally forgot it. Anyways, so this feels like Joaquin Phoenix to me for Joker. It has, the director nomination, which Marriage Story did not get. He's been around a little while longer. And Joker, we can't forget, is not just popular in the U.S., it's a billion-dollar film worldwide. So the foreign press, aspect of it, this wasn't just a U.S. hit that just caught on internationally. No, this is, obviously it's called Joker. You could argue the most famous comic book villain of all time. So, people are going to see it. So, I believe, and if I looked up right, it was like the number one film in Britain, like for 6 weekends in a row or something crazy like that. And I know their release schedule is sometimes a little different. They don't always get all the big Hollywood blockbusters back to back like here in the States, but it was something crazy like that. It was like the number one movie for like 5 or 6 weeks or something. Broke all sorts of records and stuff. And I think over there, maybe not, cum total, but like, I think it's going to be like one of the top grossing films in Britain this year. Which it's definitely one of the more higher grossing films in the U.S. as well. But it feels like that's, a lot of stuff is behind Joker here. So I'm going Joaquin Phoenix there. All right, then we'll get to another tough category is director. I feel like with this one, man, this is a tough call here because now Todd Phillips, I think the nomination was the win for him here, so I think he's out. Tarantino has never won a directing Globe before. Some people say, with Hollywood being one of his most nominated films of the Globes ever here, he definitely has a shot. So, I throw him in that for sure. I was going to look up. I forgot. Did Sam Mendes win? I think he won the year of American Beauty for the Globes. I believe he did. Yeah, he did. So they've given him one before, and they do. 1917 made it in for film. It's in for score. It didn't get anything else, but it wasn't really expected to. So yeah, I feel like that one. It's possible they could go. They didn't go like say what's his name for Mad Max. Australian guy. Shit, I'm forgetting his name. George Miller. They didn't go George Miller for Mad Max or anything, which kind of had a similar trajectory there. So yeah, it's like Tarantino and Mendes are kind of in that, just below space there. So that kind of really brings it down to Bong Joon-ho and Martin Scorsese. And, again, this is where Parasite might go 3 for 3. I mean, it feels like, to me, The Irishman is a film that the Globes liked. They didn't nominate De Niro for actor. They didn't put it in for score, which was potential. It was possible to get it nominated for score there. So they didn't love it outright like they nominated it across the board. So I think they like it. They don't love it. I think it goes home empty-handed on Sunday. Yeah, that might sound like a crazy call, but yeah, I think they go Bong Joon-ho here for director. They did go foreign director last year for Alfonso Cuarón, even though that seemed like, and again, people argued this from pretty much from Venice on that Cuarón was just going to run the board for director that year, and he did. But, so it's not unprecedented for foreign directors to win, foreign-born directors, I should say, and foreign language films directors to win. Scorsese has, I believe it's 3 Globe wins in the past. I'm, again, going to double-check this, but I know he won. I keep saying he won for, and I've gotten this wrong before, for The Aviator. It was not The Aviator. It was Hugo he won for. That was the one that I thought, something like that. So, hold on. Where's... No, not his filmography, his awards. I thought it was on his Wikipedia page here. Filmmaking style. I don't know. I'll just try to... Oh, here we go. Yeah. Let's see here. Golden Globe Awards. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, I remember The Aviator won for drama, not for director. So he did win for... It was Gangs of New York was the one that I thought he had won for The Aviator. It was Gangs of New York. So he's won 3 times at the Globes, including Hugo, The Departed, and Gangs of New York. This is his 9th time, if I'm counting this right, as nominated as director. So it feels like even though Scorsese could run, the rest of the show here after this and win every directing prize, including DGA and stuff, I don't know. This just feels like the Globes have kind of, not to put it lightly, but kind of been there, done that with Marty for director and stuff. Clearly, that could be wrong. I believe, DiCaprio, we all thought, they awarded him for Wolf of Wall Street and for The Aviator and stuff before. They're not going to go for him again in The Revenant. Nope, they did. Jennifer Lawrence, same thing. They awarded her for Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle back-to-back years. They won't give it to her again for Joy. Nope, they did. So sometimes the Globes do that. If they really, really like you and, you're in that projection, for stuff, they'll give it to you. So, That could very well happen. But another thing, too, Parasite is a movie, nobody hates it, and everybody doesn't just like it. They love it. I mean, I haven't run into maybe more than a couple people that haven't liked the movie outright or loved it outright. A couple of those people are just people that just don't care for foreign language films. They always, the subtitle, is a wall they can't get past and stuff. So it's like, other than, people like that, it's like everybody else who has seen this movie, including myself, it's still the best film I've seen all year. I mean, it's an outright love this movie. So, I just feel like the popularity again with it will help it win here for director, and for foreign language film, maybe for screenplay. But again, I think Marriage Story is a safer bet there. Okay, so then for the top two categories, motion picture, comedy, musical. This one, initially I was thinking Jojo Rabbit, and I was thinking even up to about a week ago it could still win, but then I just look at it again, it's like, I don't know. It's like it got lead actor and this category for film, and that's it. Now, it has been doing good across the guilds. Like, it got into Ace Eddie, Costume Design, Art Directors Guild. Obviously, Screen Actors Guild had a big comeback there with the ensemble nomination and everything. So, I think it's still going to do well at the Oscars. I don't necessarily seeing it, at 8 or 9 or 10 nominations like maybe we had earlier projected. And I have Scarlett Johansson in for supporting actress now there. I think it gets in for screenplay. I don't have Waititi in for director anymore, but it's, picture. I have it in for editing, which might be, some people are probably calling me crazy for that. But, especially when you look at the first few scenes, it's like there's so many quick cuts and stuff. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like that's going to go well. That might be a kooky, we saw Green Book nominated for editing last year, for Christ's sake. So some of those, far out there nominations sometimes come through. And it has been doing well across the guilds there. Joker has too, so I'm starting to more consider that one, maybe for like those sound categories and stuff. But again, we'll get to Oscar stuff later on. So I think the safe bet here is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think, obviously Hollywood's in the title. This is the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's Tarantino, who really, going through his filmography, I don't think any of his films have ever won for the Globes, for like the top film category. Pulp Fiction lost to Forrest Gump, I believe. Jackie Brown wasn't nominated, I believe. That was in the comedy musical category the last time that happened for Tarantino. The rest of them have all been drama. Kill Bill films weren't up for motion picture. I think Uma was nominated both times for lead actress. Inglourious Bastards, I think that was in the drama category, yeah, so that lost to Avatar, not Hurt Locker. And then Django was lost to Argo, and then Hateful Eight didn't get nominated there. So this is a way to award Tarantino in a way. Obviously, he'll get up there and give the speech. If he doesn't, and also if he doesn't win for director or for screenplay, then that's a way. This is still a way to award him. And as we see, a lot of the times, not always, like the La La Land year being a big exception, they do like to give the major contenders each something so they don't feel left out. Obviously, like I said, that happened with La La Land. The Post the next year, I think, got totally, 0 for 6 and stuff. I think The Irishman this year goes 0 for 5. But, and obviously, it's very possible that The Irishman also wins for drama picture. But, it just feels like Hollywood, even though Brad Pitt will win, it's like, this is like, okay, this is also Tarantino's award and stuff. And it's like, I think they like JoJo enough to nominate it for actor and stuff. But why is it not at least nominated for the screenplay category? I thought that was a shoo-in, and that was the most surprising snub or kind of left off nomination, definitely in that category on the nominations morning there. I'm still unsure why that didn't get in for screenplay. So I feel like that's a safer bet with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it's the most nominated film in the category. Feels like the biggest Oscar player, for Best Picture and stuff. So, yeah. Okay, so those of you who are keeping score at home, so if I said Marriage Story only gets screenplay, Irishman goes home with nothing, what am I going for Best Picture drama? It's 1917, Joker, or Two Popes. Where am I going? I'm going Joker. I'm going Joker here. This feels a little bit, and again, maybe I'm just repeating these nominations a little bit too much from last year, But this does feel a bit like Bohemian Rhapsody last year, which, big time surprised us for Best Picture Drama, at least me especially, because I was somebody, like, when they first said last year that Bohemian Rhapsody was going to be over in the drama category, I'm like, what are they doing? They just cost themselves so many nominations, because that thing was going to be a shoo-in to be nominated in the comedy, musical, film category, actor, and all that stuff. But then I'm like, what's it doing over in drama? Sure enough, it wins the 2 nominations it's up for. So, Joker, in the meantime here, even though it's maybe not as divisive as Bohemian Rhapsody, I guess you could call it it was divisive with critics. Audiences really loved it. I think the people in the industry loved it, because it went 4 for 5 at the Oscars, 2 for 2 at the Globes, stuff like that, 1 for 2 at the SAGs and all that. Did pretty well at BAFTA and so on and so forth. So all the major awards contenders loved it and stuff, industry people too. But it just, kind of felt like, since Bryan Singer's name's is attached and stuff, it was like, there was still kind of a little bit with that. Joker, in the meantime, critics, again, very split. Audiences love this movie. I think the guilds, especially right now, are loving this movie. It's nominated everywhere, including today at the Cinematographers Guild, but it's really missed, like, nowhere. Like, I don't know if there's any place it could have been nominated in a guild that it hasn't so far. So, I'm going to say this also, too. I have Todd Phillips in at DGA for one of the 5 because of that. That's a big reasoning there. But the DGA feels a little bit like, okay, they'll go, it's usually like a 4 for 5 when we get to the Oscars and stuff. So, who did I have in at DGA? I believe I have these same 5 as the Globes here. I have Junho, Scorsese, Tarantino, Mendes, and Phillips. Yeah, I have those 5 at the DGA. And obviously, Greta Gerwig's a possibility there too, and there's many others. But again, with everything, Joker kind of feels like that too, and it's we mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody last year. Guess what? Joker also has director and score nominations, so it's technically more popular than Bohemian Rhapsody. And look what happened there. So, and it's also, again, very popular film. As we saw, Bohemian Rhapsody was a near $1 billion film. It was like $930 million or something. And, that, I think, also factored into its Globe win. So, yeah, I think that's a part of it. Plus, like I said, they like to go, a little more democratic with their wins here and stuff. There's already, I'm piling up, still a good number of nominations and stuff here. But The Irishman and Marriage Story, both Netflix movies, maybe they do cancel each other out here. And again, Marriage Story doesn't have director. Irishman doesn't have actor, which was the big thing it missed. It also doesn't have score, but again, that's a little less, on the radar there. And it's also didn't make the short list at the Oscars and everything. And then I just don't see 1917 as a big enough contender there at the Globes. I think it's definitely one they liked, but I don't know if they go for it. The Two Popes, just doesn't feel like the winner here to me either. So, yeah, I think it's Joker. I think it's a bit of a surprise, upset win there. But, I'm kind of, I kind of look at everything else. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like something like that is going to happen again this year. And again, maybe I'm leaning too heavily on, some predications of what happened last year with, actor drama and film drama lining up with, two more or less unexpected wins. A lot of people thought Rami would win. I didn't. I thought it was Bradley Cooper last year. Director going to a foreign language film, and so on and so forth. So, maybe I am leaning a little heavily on that, and that might come back to bite me in the ass. But you know what? That's what I've got for you. That's what I've got for the nomination, or for the winner predictions, I should say. So for sure we'll be back here Sunday after everything's over. We'll talk about a little bit about the ramifications of what happens here, because as per usual, the Globe wins when they're handed out are during Oscar voting and everything. Ballots went out Tuesday, I believe, the 31st of December. So so they're definitely out right now. Obviously being decided, or the fates are being decided as we speak, and so on and so forth. Let's see. Otherwise, we kind of talked about a couple of things. WGA, we'll probably talk about that after they're out, but BAFTA, we'll get final predictions out for that before the show on nominations are announced very early Tuesday. And since I am writing for Cultured Vultures, which is based out of England, I really don't have a choice but to do, if I want to do an article for them as soon as the nominations are out, I got to get it done as soon as they're out. So even though it'll be 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. my time, I'll stay up and watch them. So so I'll try to do a live video with them as well for BAFTA. Then I've got, what else have I got for you guys? Yeah, we mentioned, PGA, DGA are out the same day, so we'll try to get some nominations out for them, predictions out for them, I should say. And we'll get some reactions. I think they're announced during the daytime, which is when I'm working, so I can't get them out immediately, but I'll try to get them out that same day. Same with BAFTA, too, aside from the live nomination and reactions there. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if there's anything additional I have to say, because they're out the same day, Tuesday of next week. So it's kind of busy time. We'll get into some further Oscar predictions, and I'll probably do a second video of final predictions before Monday the 13th. I feel like I'm forgetting some. Oh, yeah, film reviews. I'll try to get that as a separate video, too. So, yeah, you'll probably be seeing plenty of me here in the next couple weeks here as we kind of get into definitely the next phase of the award season. It's going to very kind of shortened season this year with the pushed-up schedule and everything. So, yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff to cover here and a lot more going on in the coming weeks, and we'll enjoy it as we go. All right. Oh, and also to all of you trying to predict out there as well for the Globes on Sunday, fingers crossed. It's some of these races are going to be really tough. So, Yep, we'll see how it goes.